Shabbat Shalom to all of you. This week we read the portion of Achare Mot Kedoshim. We titled this message, Deciding to Live. What is life? What is death? Consciousness? Unconsciousness? These questions remind me of the words of a song performed by Kansas, an alternative rock band, when I was young. It says, "All we are is dust in the wind." I believe this idea falls short because it refers to the physical aspect of our being. As Bereshit tells us, we are made from dust, and to dust we will return. But that is not our essence. It is similar to saying that a tangerine refers only to its peel and not to the fruit that is within it. We are a symbiosis of our soul and body, and of inanimate earth and the breath of life of the eternal. Elements that when we unite form Lenef Haya, the living being that is written in Bereshit 2, verse 7. Interestingly, Parashat Achare Mot begins by recalling the death of our own sons, but does not immediately focus on the issue of how to face the death or pain, but rather to an antidote against death. What is that? Living life to the fullest. Living life is the best way of honoring our loved ones who have passed from this world, not sinking into a deep depression, nor stop living our life or hoping to join them one day, like those awaiting of a sweet death. More poetically, their desire is to keep drawing in the illusion that the body of the person who has already left feels and perceives, and they hope that whoever is on the other side can still see us. I use the word illusion because this type of desire affirms that in death we will still have physical consciousness. However, we are unable to recognize to a living soul who lacks a body is not longer within time, space, and form. When we truly return to the best place, to our God, we will be, as Kohelet 12:7 says, and the dust returns to the earth as it was, and the breath of life returns to God who gave it. Shemot Rabbah 48:1 says, two ships cross the sea. One sets sail from a sheltered port for an unknown destination. The second returns from a hazardous voyage. When the ship arrives at its port, the people rejoice. Such life is too. However, we rejoice when a child is sent to make the uncertain journey to the existence. Shall not we rejoice when the ship finally reaches the safe harbor of God's peace? And what we are sure of is that one day we will live as Kohelet 8:8 says. There is no one who has power over the breath of life to retain it, nor there is anyone who has power over the day of his death. So if there is an element that we cannot avoid, nor be exposed to when we are born, why stop living? As I read these words, I realize that our bodies were never designed to hold eternity within us. Further on in Vayikra 18:5, our portion says, Ushartem et chukotai be'et mishpatai asher yashe otam chadam bechaye bachem. Ani Adonai. And you shall observe my statutes and my judgments, for by fooling them, men will live by them. I am the eternal. Note that this portion tells us that God's desire is that we live, that we have consciousness, and perceptions of the physical world. Many of us fall into the illusion of seeing this physical world as a blurred image. Rabbi Shaul expressed it well in 1 Corinthians 13:12. For now we see obscurely in a mirror, but then it will face to face. He understood that how we see this life is similar to viewing a blurred image of ourselves when we look in a mirror. Remember that ancient times, there were not selfies of mobile or glass mirror that allowed us to see a clear image of ourselves. No, those mirrors held a blurred self-image. Since we see in the Torah, the woman brought mirrors abreast of the Mishkan image, dressing up for a wedding, today using a type of mirror. It is inconceivable to us. How do we live? Allow me to encapsulate Vayikra 19:8. You shall love your neighbors as yourself. I am the Eternal. What sort of commandment is this? Love another? Love myself? Is love an obligation or a mandate? Isn't it voluntary? I want to clarify that the word love used in this portion is not equivalent to the modern liberal idea expressed as accepted, include, integrate, respect, etc. This word, the word puts in our heads to replace the word of the eternal. The word depicted for the Torah for love, ahava, far surpasses them. This love is an action that goes beyond feelings, beyond logic, beyond self, eros, or expediently philo, or good and positive thoughts, which are sufficient in themselves but must be concrete through action. Implicitly, this entire portion speaks of how we can practice love on a daily basis. Here's a summary of the 27 mishpatim revealed in this portion. First, we communicate God's desire to preserve life, as he says in 16:2, tell your brother, lest he die. What will happen if Moshe never told Aaron or his sons to be careful when entering certain areas of the Mishkan? They could die. Second, we cover, atone for, these faults of others, our own and the community. See chapter 16. Third, honor God by remaining buried in past. An example, uncovering what has been already covered. Fourth, respect the value of life linked to the blood. Fifth, we obey the Torah. Sixth, we keep sexual purity and morality, especially in our relationship with the opposite sex, with family and all creation, chapters 18 and 19. 7, we are generous to the poor. 8, we speak the truth. 9, we exercise social justice. 10, we control our emotion and feelings toward other human beings, avoid hating them or taking revenge of committing acts of sinat hinam, gracious hatred towards them. 11, we honor and keep the Shabbat. 12, we fear mother and father. And 13, we do not commit foolish acts, acting as a common nation, as we read in chapter 20, verse 23, and not only as a holy nation. Here he mentions certain examples such as following necromancy, the cult of Moloch, the cult of demons, among others. So in order to live, we must work on removing all the dense darkness that cover us. May we remember that we live in Olam. This Olam is concealment, and it's easy to fall into the deception of the body with its feeling and desires. When we follow the teaching of the Torah, it gives us light, as Tehillim 109, verse 5 says, your word is a lamp to my feet and light unto my path. Is there life after death? It is still a mystery, something that is hidden from us. Everyone will know it on the day that we return to God. But in the meantime, we are fulfilling our purpose of living an abundant and happy life in this world. Uh, in this world, do we generate life around us? Let us love one another because love is from God, as 1 Yochanan 4:7-8 says. Shabbat Shalom.